All right. So, okay. You guys can see my screen, the Canva screen.
Yes, we can. We can see Canva.
Yeah, that's fine. The PPT, right? Hmm. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's daily debate on the topic. It is on the topic, should genetic modification of organisms be more strictly regulated? Now, for this topic, we will have a 1v2 format since considering the amount of participants who have joined today. For the for, uh, in the people in the favor will be Ranveer Rao. The people in the against will be Pranat Kadam and Kashvi. The guidelines of the debate will be as follows. The opening statement will be of 90 seconds. We will have a rebuttal round at the end of the opening statements of 70 seconds per speaker, and we might have a Q&A round depending on the time available, and we'll have a closing statement for 60 seconds. Okay. So we will be starting with the person in favor. You may start with your opening statement.
Can there be a timer on screen?
Yeah, just a second. I will put the timer on and I will put you on spotlight also. I might have to
Right.
close the screen. Is that fine with everyone?
Sure.
So if you need a timer, but I don't think I'll be able to share the timer without
I'll
sharing my
set it
screen.
myself. I'll do a self
Yeah.
count.
So it is of 90 seconds. I'm also putting it on my side so that it is fair and fine.
All right then. I should I start?
You may start in three, two, one.
Greeting everyone. Now we need to understand the fact that even historically, tampering with the nature has led to devastating consequences. Let's take the example of introducing the cane toads in Australia, which caused ecosystem imbalance within the surroundings itself. Now, till this day, this has been an invasive species, and this has been a very devastating response to their lakes and to their farms. Reason being because the species was invasive, and there was no other creatures to know the predators to kill the same. Now we need to understand that meddling with the nature's precision always leads to consequences. Short-term gains always lead to long-term chaos. Considering the natural aspects, as for the Diversity Act of 2002, unregulated GMOs can pose a threat to India's rich biodiversity when we consider India. And we also need to understand that we need to protect the rights of our farmers because unregulated GMOs pose a threat to their livelihood. Citing Schmeiser v. Monsanto Canada INC, we need to protect the intellectual property of our local livelihoods, and we cannot, favor GMOs for profits of big corporations. What we call man's power over nature turns out to be a power of one man to another man with nature in between suffering. So something needs to be regulated about this because when we tamper with
Time is finished.
genetic modification, we tamper with evolution itself. Thank you.
Good speech, Ranveer. Now we will hear the against the speech for the against from Pranath first, and then we will move on to Kashvi.
Okay. So I would start on my self count of three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, today we discuss the regulation of genetically modified organisms or GMOs. While some advocate for stricter rules, I firmly believe our current system is sufficient. Let's examine the facts. I stand against stricter regulation of GMOs, trusting in the existing framework that ensures safety and sustainability. The US regulatory framework involving the FDA, EPA, and USDA is robust under the coordinated framework for the regulation of biotechnology. This framework ensures GMOs are evaluated for safety just like any other food product. Critics argue that GMOs lack through testing, but the FDA's plant biotechnology consultation program rigorously assesses GMO safety before market entry. For example, GMO corn with built-in insisted has reduced insecticide by 35% without adverse effects. My opponent often cite the need for more regulation, but they overlook the scientific consensus. Every major scientific body and regulatory agency has declared current GMO safe for consumption and for the environment. In conclusion, our current regulatory system is robust and science driven. It protects human health and the environment without stifling innovation. Let's rely on the evidence and expertise, not fear and misinformation. Thank you.
All right. Kashvi, just wait for a second. Pratham, we have already started with the daily debate. If you have already made your speech, you can speak in the favor of the topic after Kashvi. Kashvi, you may go on.
So I'll start in three, two, one. Good evening, everyone. Myself Kashvi. So today I'm going to speak debate on the topic: should genetic modification of organisms be more strictly regulated? So my first point is advances in science and medicine. Genetic modification has led to breakthroughs in medicines, agriculture, and industry. Tight regulations could slow down important discoveries such as creating crop resistance to pests or developing new medical treatments. Second, feeding the growing population. Um, GM crops has GM crops can help feed the world's growing population by making plants more nutritious and resistant to disease and environmental stress. Strict regulations could limit the ability to create these vital crops and worsen food shortage. Third, environmental benefits. Genetic modification can make plants and animals more eco friendly by reducing the need for harmful pesticides and fertilizers. Overregulation might prevent us fully from utilizing these benefits to protect the environment. Fourth, economic growth and innovation. Many business and industries rely on GM technology for growth and innovation. Overly strict rules could hurt these sectors, making it harder to bring new products to market and reducing economic
Conclude.
opportunity. Fifth, public access and choice. If genetic modification is overregulated, it could lead to fewer GM products available to the public. Consumers might lose access to healthier, cheaper, or more sustainable options, limiting their ability to make choices that fit their needs. So, in conclusion, while caution is more important, stricter regulations on genetic modification could stifle progress, limited solutions to global challenges, and hinder innovation that benefits society. Thank you.
Okay. Pratham, do you have anything to say in the favor of the topic?
Chair, I guess that would be breaking the general format because
Yeah.
now it would be time for a rebuttal.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think he's responding also. So we'll just start with the rebuttal. The rebuttal is for 70 seconds per speaker. We will start with the favor in three. Just let me put you on spotlight. Three, two.
Now, the opposition mentioned about using regulated frameworks of the FDA and PDA. The issue here is that the FDA and PDA do regulate it, but they do not block over innovation or unnecessary innovation, which leads to a vicious cycle. The reason is that, for example, the FDA biotechnology consultation, it consults over the already established standards that are there. People are now developing different standards. They are mutating the various things we consume and the various organisms. This is not just about food. This is not the food department. It is the organisms, nature in itself. We are tampering with it. Now, the proposition said that uh, there will be no adverse effects. I would like to quote that they said without any adverse effects. Of course, there will be adverse effects. You are tampering with the laws of nature itself. You are changing how a crop works. You're changing how an organism in itself works. Of course, it is going to cause adverse effects. We should Another point was raised that we should not stop innovation. Of course, we should not stop innovation. Another point that was raised that sustainability is, we need more sustainability. So combining both these things, that we are moving towards sustainability, but on another side, this sustainability is eventually leading to a vicious cycle of over consumption of innovation. Reason being,
Conclude.
uh, yes. Reason being, innovation, corporations which are in requirement of profits are innovating crops that do not require pesticides anymore, which will eventually lead to a increased use of chemicals, which will in the end harm humans in itself. Thank you.
Thank you. Pranad, you may begin
I
with your
guess
rebuttal.
Kashvi should go first.
All right. Kashi, if you're okay, please start with the rebuttal. In three, two,
Just
guys, we are in short of time. We have like 13 minutes left, so we might not have the question and answer from the judge, from the chair. So we will just move to the closing statements, and I will just give the suggestions upon your performance. Pranad, are you ready?
Wait, actually. Okay, I would start in three, two, one. While my opponents raise concerns about GMO safety and regulation, let's set a record straight with facts. The US regulatory framework involving the FDA, EPA, and USDA is a robust and science driven. It evaluates a GMO based on their properties, not the production process, like the conventional foods. Internationally renowned organizations such as World Health Organizations, the American Medical Association, and the National Academy of Science have deemed GMO safe. Hundreds of independent research studies support this conclusion. Claims of health risks and environmental harm are not substantiated. For instance, the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization and the World Health Organization have stated that GMOs in food aid do not present a human health risk. Let's rely on a scientific consensus and evidence and not fear and misinformation on our current regulatory system is comprehensive and ensures the safety of GMOs without hindering innovation. Thank you.
Thank you. Kashvi, are you ready with your rebuttal?
actually, I would like to skip if possible.
Okay, that's fine. Moving on, we will have the closing statements from the favor.
Wouldn't we have a question for
We might
the
have, but we are
proposition?
just left with 10 minutes. But let's have a question because Kashi is not giving the speech, so we have some time. So you may ask one question to each from the favor and against. From the chair, I will not be giving the questions, right?
Can I ask the question then?
Yeah, you may ask the favor.
Okay. Given that the stricter regulations would likely increase the costs associated with regulatory compliance, such as the already high costs of gaining regulatory approval for GM crops, how would you ensure that these increased costs do not disappropriately harm small scale farmers and biotech companies?
Stricter regulations are not meant to increase the crops. They are increase the cost. They are meant to regulate if the people are being provided with adequate standards, and if the stuff that they are consuming and the nature around them is not beyond its current requirement. Um, while stricter regulations are still there, what we actually need is stricter regulations along with welfare of the people. That is what stricter regulations propose: safety with innovation. Stricter regulations do not mean stopping innovation. They mean not allowing something that is not with regards to the betterment of the people. I rest my case. Thank you.
Do you have any question for Pranad?
I would like to ask that, as you said in your previous speeches, that the current standards in themselves are good enough for the current surroundings. Uh, how are you going to ensure that the cloning is also a type of genetic modification? How are you going to, ensure that cloning in itself is not causing moral issues with regards to production of dairy products and um, I guess non-vegetarian products? Because stricter regulations, even with the FDA, are causing I'm sorry, um, what do we say? Genetical issues within the chicks, because when they are being genetically modified, reproduction is becoming even more difficult. So, what would be your response to that?
I suppose the current regulations and how the companies are, for example, cloning and doing those stuffs for reproduction are good enough so that it wouldn't raise a moral issue or something like that. They would not raise because there aren't any significant proofs that they are raising concerns about health or something like that, right?
Okay, Kashvi, do you
Are
have
we
any
allowed?
questions?
Are we allowed to reply?
No.
No, we don't have that much time right now. So let's just move on to the closing statements. The favor, you may start. You have 60 seconds.
Now, in addressing claims of health risks and environmental harm associated with GMOs, it is critical to rely on the fact that scientific evidence rather than fear or misinformation. Decades of research and real world application have shown that GMOs are not safe in themselves, because even the United Nations and the World Health Organization have encouraged for them to be conventionally regulated in themselves. 275 independent studies and reviews have, along with the National Academy of Sciences, have shown that GMOs need to be very strictly regulated because they might cause health issues along with ecosystem issues, as stated by me earlier in the Australian studies with regards to cane toads. Now, the if we aren't able to control the continuous disregarding innovation with regards to crops, we might just increase a chance of 37% by increase a chance of completely malnourishing the newer generations by 37%, because continuous uh, innovation in the gene can result in breaking the genome in itself, which will result in lesser growing crops and harming the soil layer itself.
Okay. Pranad, you may start.
Just a sec. I'm opening my speech. Just a sec.
Kashvi, are you ready with your speech?
I prefer speaking after.
All right.
Yeah.
Also, guys,
So I would
please
begin on myself.
remember to complete it before 60 seconds. We have a crunch of time. You may.
Okay. So, yeah, I would begin my speech under 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this discussion on GMO, let's rely on facts and scientific consensus rather than fear and misinformation. I believe our current regulatory system is adequate and should not be made stricter. Here's why. The US regulatory framework involving the FDA, EPA, and USDA is robust and science driven. It ensures GMOs are evaluated for safety just like any other food product. GMOs have significantly reduced pesticide use. US farmers have lessened pesticide use by 40 million pounds since 1995, a clear environmental benefit. The World Health Organization and the Food and Agriculture Organization have guidelines emphasizing risk assessment and public health protection, indicating a global census on GMO safety. Mandatory labeling offer advocated for is not science-based and does not address safety concerns. It merely caters to consumer autonomy without adding a value to safety assessments. In conclusion, our current system is compressive and ensures GMO safety without hindering progress. Let's trust the evidence and our regulatory agencies. Stricter regulations would confuse consumers and hinder the benefits of GMOs in food security and environmental sustainability. Thank you.
Kashvi? your closing statement.
Yeah. Okay.
You may start.
So okay,
Please
as
turn
we
on your
conclude,
camera if possible.
yeah, just a second.
So sorry for that. Uh, until then, let me just tell you the suggestion and feedback that I have for you. First of all, Pranad, yeah. So whenever you are just using when you stating your facts that GMOs doesn't fully completely they do not impact the health of a person. You should not do that. You must consider that it might have an impact because a lot of studies might say so. So keep your statement as it that most of the time GMOs don't uh, have an adverse effect, so that you are also neutral by that side and you are safe from the rebuttals of the opposition, right? And also, for the rebuttal of Ranveer Rao, that guy used a rebuttal. He used a point in a speech about India, about the effects that might occur on India. So, if you could have used that point for a rebuttal by saying that India uh, also seen significant achievements, success rates in the field of GMOs. You could have stated a lot of facts in that, and that could be beyond rebuttal on the success of GMOs without stricter regulations. So that could be your plus point. Then you could have stated BT cotton, which is basically a GMO that has been being used for a for a long while in India. Right? That's fine. Now, seeing that we have just 1 minute left, Kashi, you may proceed with the closing statement. We just hear that and end the debate. Kashi, you may start. Right. I guess that's it for the debate today. We don't have much time left.
Just a minute.
Kashi, we
Actually,
don't have time. We don't have the time right now. We have like 30 seconds. Let me just tell your feedback. Kashvi, the way you uh, told the points in the pointer form that you first told about the introduction, the benefits, then the overregulation point, and then the public access, that system, that structure was really good. And the thing I want from you is that you don't have to give an introduction every time because the speech is of 60 seconds or 90 seconds only here. And during the pointers, please include actual facts or any report that you must come look forward to, because that will give you plus points. Because actual facts is a judgment criteria in actual debates, and we also keep it here. So that is fine. We don't have any winner right now. It was a neutral debate. It was a friendly debate. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye. Good night.
thank you.